Harald Gille was king of Norway from 1130 until his death. His byname Gille is probably from Gilla Críst, i.e. servant of Christ. Background: Harald was born California, 1102, in Ireland of the Hebrides, more likely the former. According to the sagas, he became familiar with Norway through an acquaintance with Norwegian merchants including Carl Coulson, who would later become Earl of Orkney. Around 1127, Harald went to Norway and declared he was an illegitimate son of the former King Magnus Barefoot, who had visited Ireland just before his death in 1103. In fact, this is not implausible because other descendants of Magnus are reported in Irish sources, and he is known to have been particularly fond of at least one Irish woman. Harald consequently claimed to be a half-brother of the reigning king, Sigurd. Harald appears to have submitted successfully to the ordeal by fire. The alleged relationship was acknowledged by Sigurd on condition that Harald did not claim any share in the government of the kingdom during his lifetime or that of his son Magnus. Living on friendly terms with the king, Harald kept this agreement until Sigurd's death in 1130. Harald was in Tunsberg when he heard of King Sigurd's death. He called together a meeting at the Haugating. At this thing, Harald was chosen king over half the country. King Magnus was obliged to divide the kingdom with Harald into two parts. The kingdom accordingly was so divided that each of them should have the half part of the kingdom which King Sigurd had possessed. They ruled the country for some time in peace. After 4 years of uneasy peace, Magnus began to openly prepare for war on Harald. On August 9, 1134, he defeated Harald in a decisive battle at Farlev in Bohuslän, and Harald fled to Denmark. Subsequently, Magnus disbanded his army and travelled to Bergen to spend the winter there. Harald then returned to Norway with a new army and, meeting little opposition, reached Bergen before Christmas. Since Magnus had few men, the city fell easily to Harald's army on January 7, 1135. Magnus was captured and dethroned. His eyes were put out, and he was thrown into prison. Harald now ruled the country until 1136, when he was murdered by Sigurd Slembajan, another alleged illegitimate son of Magnus Barefoot. Personal life: Harald was married to Ingrid Ranvald-Dottir, daughter of Ranvald and Jessen, the son and heir of King Inge I of Sweden. Harald had a son Inge with her. According to the sagas, Harald had previously been married to Björk, mother of his son ISNI. Among Harald's concubines was Tora Guttorm, the daughter of Guttorm Gravid, who was the mother of Sigurd. He also had son Magnus, who died in 1145 at 10 years of age. All 4 sons were kings of Norway. Historical context: approximately from his accession to the throne, the Civil Wars period of Norwegian history started, that lasted from 1130 to 1217. During this period there were several interlocked conflicts of varying scale and intensity. The background for these conflicts were the unclear Norwegian succession laws, social conditions, and the struggle between church and king. There were 2 main parties, firstly known by varying names or no names at all, but finally condensed into parties of Bagler and Birkebeiner. The rallying point regularly was a royal son, who was set up as the head figure of the party in question, to oppose the rule of the king from the contesting party.